What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining us. Today you see we have started stripping this thing down. Johannes is busy. So the objective today is to get the radiator out. We've already drained the water, just letting it run down there. So we need to get the radiator out and maybe get the front clip off. We'll take the bumper off, maybe get the headlights off, but the objective is to just get it ready so that we can push the car back, get it up, and then start the process of stripping it. So it is quite a tedious exercise to get this engine out. It's not really that quick, and we're obviously space limited here, as you can see. So what we're going to do is we are going to move the car kind of diagonally in the garage, and we're going to start tonight and then just see where we get to. I obviously have my day job I need to go and do, so Johannes is going to carry on during the day of the next couple of days, and we'll the objective is really get the motor out. From there we're going to strip it. So in this episode we'll at least figure out what is going on with that motor.
I'm Jacques from SSBB Builds. I've been racing front wheel drive for over 8 years. I won a championship, came runner up in 2 others. I'm building this BMW to find out what it's like to be involved with rear wheel drive cars and the classic BMW heritage. Join me on this discovery as I share my passion.
Amazing how much dust and shit accumulates just so quickly. I mean, look at this. This is from this last race, from the Mozambique race. Check how dusty this is. Down by the oil cooler. And that's kind of why you need to stay on top of keeping your race car clean, because often the dust and the dirt hide cracks and stuff. And if you don't stay on top of it, then you don't see that kind of stuff. It's also important after every race you get the car up on jack stands, you take the wheels off, you clean everything down. I've done a video of this, you can check it out somewhere here. You kind of just go through the car, you also check out what's loose, what's not, just have a feel around, do a spanner check. It's important. So Johannes has killed it. It's really late, so tomorrow we'll carry on. Johannes has taken all the cables out. I think it's the alternator cable, which is one of the last cables. Got all the sensors unplugged. How we strap this thing is there's a hook here, so we sling it on there around, and then we hook it on one of the exhaust manifold brackets. It's plenty strong enough, and then we just pull the thing out with the gearbox straight up, like you're gonna see. Everything's loosened inside. Bumper and all of that is there. That must go to my website guy. Johannes pulled the gearbox, the engine oil out. This is brand new engine oil. Super good engine oil. This stuff, Fuchs Titan Race Pro S 1060. Really good oil, highly recommended. It came highly recommended. Smells good. So I haven't gone through it or sieved it, but it looks like there's no contaminants there. So
How many times have we taken this engine out, Johannes? 4th time now.
yeah. Whoop.
Okay, you got it at the front? Use it. Black shit in the intake. There she is. Says oil in the throttle body. That obviously came through because of the, tells me there's either a hole in the piston or valve is bent open. More likely a hole in the piston because it's pumping oil up.
If you want to see some more of this kind of content, please consider subscribing.
Just click on the subscribe button, hit the bell, and you're good to go. Alright, so we need to get the engine stand mount thingy onto the engine. So let's do that. I'm not going to over tighten these. They should really just be tightened to their torque threshold. Get the old M52 in position, jack her up. Now I've done it the wrong way, of course. Let's try again. I'm interested to see how much this engine weighs. Let's weigh it quick. So I have the scale under the engine. Is it reading? Yes, it is. Let's see if we can get a weight. Just going to rest it as best I can. It might not be completely accurate, but it's an idea. Let's leave it at that. 100 kilos. It's probably maybe another 20, I think. 120 kilos. 120 odd kilograms. Interesting. Okay, let's get this engine on the stand. Okay, seems to be resting. I'm not going to play around with taking all the ancillaries off, stripping this whole thing down. I want to get to what is going on in this motor. So what that means is I'm just going to focus on taking the cylinder head off. So to do that, we're going to have to take the intake off, the exhaust manifolds, obviously the valve cover. We're going to have to remove this Velos setup. We'll have to, take the cam chain off and figure out from there how to get the rest of the stuff off, cams out, head bolts out, all of that good stuff. So I'm not going to play around. Let's get to it. Come on. We forget how blessed we are to work with freaking power tools. Old school with the wrenches or the spanners. These puppies. Okay, now must come off. So cylinder number 4 is full of engine oil. Right, time for the intake. Alright, let's take this intake manifold off. Gonna bump all the nuts. It's an 11. So we should be done here. Taking the mount off, taking the bolts off. There we go. Sometimes even if the valves are bent, you still can't see it. A lot of fuel in the cylinders. Okay, cool. Just need to carry on. Now these coils we are not using again, thankfully. Taking them off now, hopefully for the last time. If you remember, some of these nuts came loose, and it was actually the studs that came loose on some of them because this is a magnesium valve cover, and some of the studs have started pulling out. So with the new Audi R8 coils that we're going to run from here on, we don't need to send as much power to the coil as you do with these. They're more durable, and then also we don't need to use these studs. It'll be a massive help. So it's going to be a win all round. It's just a really good upgrade. Here you can see the plugs of cylinders 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see cylinder number 4 is damaged. Okay, we'll take this valve cover off next. Pull this coils, valve cover. I'm considering getting a plastic valve cover, but I've invested all the money in refurbishing this one. Only thing that I need is a couple more of these little washer bolt things, and the rubbers. Sorry, the rubbers. Now the rubbers, there's very limited stock globally for some reason. Right, off with the valve cover. Do not break the gasket, because the gasket's also quite hard to get. It's an M52 early gasket. The plastic valve cover has a different gasket to this one. It's the magnesium valve cover gasket. Take off the intake manifold cover. This stops oil pissing out the breather. What we are looking for is damage here on cylinder number 4. There's a little bit of wear on the cam, and there isn't on the cam lobes, and there isn't on, feel it there with my nail, and there isn't really on the other lobes, which indicates that intake valve, there's an issue here. Now, when it was running, you could hear the valves were noisy. So that indicates that there's probably a vent valve or something, and the lifter was bottoming out. So we might have a lifter failure as well. These are all new lifters. This is a beautiful engine. Oh man. Now, there is probably oil that's going to come flying out here. Just catch it with this. In South Africa we call this a lappy. A lappy. It's a rag, cloth. Oh, this oil is clean. Good to see. Didn't see any bits come out the oil when we drained the oil, so that's also good. Talking to myself is quite pleasant. Now I know what M539 restorations feels like. That's top dead center. So that's at the top. Correct. Number 1 valves are closed. Correct. So number 1 is firing. Top dead center, number 1. Good. So the cams look good in terms of their position. Nothing has moved. I need to remember how this engine comes apart, to be honest. This is a wonderful engine. I'm really impressed with what we managed to get out of it before I destroyed it. Not completely, but we'll figure out what was going on there. Thermostat housing, that's it, thermostat housing. No! Don't want oil on the belt. There we go. Just let that drip out over there. This is the cam sensor that we thought was giving us issues. Beautiful red oil. The oil didn't even get dirty. That's how little we drove this car. This is what happens. Ta-da! Take this whole thing, put it in there, so I'll put the other tensioners in here as well. Then we can kind of group it together. So we have the Vanos system here with all the bolts. Also keep the cylinder head stuff together in a box and the bottom end stuff together in a box. Now we take this puppy off. Cam gear, intake cam gear. Like a glove. And the cam chain. I'm not too worried about the cam chain falling down. So always remember with the camshafts, you want to take the cam out evenly. Don't try and, or don't have one end stressed. So always start from the outside, moving in, and you loosen each bolt systematically. A crisscross kind of fashion, basically the opposite to how you would tighten them. That's to avoid unnecessary stresses on the camshaft, because the camshaft is cast iron, and over its length you can obviously break it if you put uneven load onto it. So you need to be very careful. Okay, they look like they're all loose. So we take the caps off one by one, do a bit of an inspection, a little bit of wear. Not good, but it looked like not a hectic wear, just a little bit. Now we'll take the lifters out, and you always keep them in the same sequence. Cam box can come out. Shit. Why? So you can see inside there some wear. Not sure what that is from. Okay, so we'll do the same with the exhaust side. Not as much wear on the intake. So the intake cam saw some loading for some reason. Here, number 5 and 6. Doesn't look happy. So I'm keeping them in the exact same sequence as what they came out in. Oh! Whoa! This lifter has failed. What? That would have caused the valve to drop for sure. Wow, that's interesting. So make sure you get good lifters. I mean, these were brand new. So half of the lifter is still inside. The lifter is also slightly damaged. It's still functional, but it looks like odd. The retainer has come off. Oh, look at that. This is number 4. Okay, now this is a smoking gun, because it is possible that this retainer failed. Something failed here and caused the valve to drop, or it's because the piston broke or something. But okay, so we have a broken lifter, so there you can see the damage. So nothing on the intake side, but damage on the exhaust side. Let's see what the other valve is like. Okay, that one is fine. Okay, another failed lifter. I wonder what has happened here. What has happened here? Looks like the lifter just broke. That valve is still intact though. Bit of damage on the stem. Interesting, it happened on the exhaust side. Come on, Mr. Cam Box. Significant damage. Okay, so number is damage where the lifter failed. Good lord. This is exactly why I replaced the lifters. Come on, man. What is going on? No idea where the actual cotters are. The cotters are the things that sit inside here to retain clip the valve onto the retainer. That is stuck in there. No movement. So that has been bent to pieces. Okay, let's see. Let's take this head off. 14, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Good. It'll be interesting to see. Did this thing fail because of the lifters? Because the lifters can't handle RPM. We're only revving it to 7, you know, I mean. I've been assured that it can handle it. But, oh, maybe 6.9 is like the limit, you know. The lifters just shit themselves. Race cars, what do you do? You do it properly. Okay. I thought I did. I'm missing a rag, but I just use this one until I find the other one. Okay, so we need to get those out and then we can pull this head off. I've never been so excited to see my misery, see what lies ahead. What a wonderful engine. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did this to you. It's only 7 grand we're revving it to. Is it possible that they can't handle the RPM? It's possible. It is an aftermarket lifter, it's not a genuine lifter. Here we go. So it's best I pull it off, put it like that. Alrighty. There we go. Okay, let's take this exhaust valve off so we can, ow, but it's not as bad as I thought. I thought it was going to be spaghetti inside there. That's actually good news. That is really good news. I thought it was going to be minced meat inside there. That's what happens sometimes if you drop a valve. It's absolute carnage. Get this thing off. Hey, we might be in luck here. We might be in luck here. What? I don't want to speak too soon. I don't want to speak too soon. Holy smokes. I feel like I've just won the lotto. Where is the thing? It's only me working here. So what I'm doing is I am inspecting the bore to see if there's any damage on the bore. But you know, I'm going to ship this engine anyway to Sean at KWT. Let them have a look at it. A little bit of wear on the thrust. That's interesting. Even on this one. Not that much. Everybody gets this wrong. This side of a cylinder, that end, from there to there, that's called the bore. This from front to back in rotation, that's called the thrust. So the thrust in terms of the bore, the cylinder, is where you see the most load because the piston's going up and down and the force from the conrod is pushing either that way or that way, depending on if it's going up or coming down. So that's where you will see the most wear in this direction, on that side and this side. Now this piston has been chewed up a bit, but we can still use it. There's just a bit of wear on the thrust, but that is not, I can't even feel it with my nail. So I'll probably get rid of it with the hone. It's not even worth honing. You just have to reseat the rings again. So might not even do that. I don't know. Might end up just sending this engine to Sean, KWT. So I think we won the lotto here. Can't feel any play on the bearing. That's good news. So we might have just won the lotto here. So it was definitely not a piston failure. That's for sure. What am I looking at? Why am I celebrating? There are marks on the piston. Those marks are from where the valve was hitting the piston. Let's look at the head. This is now cylinder number 4. Here you can see 654. Here you can see the valve is open. So number 4 valve is open. So that means the valve is bent, right? But we are super lucky. There's no damage to the combustion chamber. No damage to the combustion chamber. Now if I dropped a valve or if the piston broke, this would have been mincemeat. Basically then you have to re-weld up and machine down and a lot of manual work to fix that. This is potentially a new valve, retainer, spring, maybe a new guide, clean up the seat, recut the seat, re-lap it, done. But that is because the lifter failed. That is not because it has nothing to do with the injector. The lifter failed. The brand new lifters I put in failed. So what does that mean? Well, it means I think we got really lucky here. I was anticipating a broken piston, having to remachine the piston, well, a new piston, have the possibly, I don't know, damage on the bore. I think we got very, very lucky here. Piston is reusable. Obviously, there's a tiny bit of damage, but it's nothing, you know, the piston's not cracked or anything like that. the lifters have failed. So what that tells me is these lifters are not going to cut it. They're not sufficient. So I'll speak to Sean at KWT, see what he suggests. We might have to go to a shim setup. Maybe there's some other high quality lifters you use. The guys have assured me you can use lifters, but you know, do you risk it? Like, there's 2 that have failed. I think we got very lucky with number 5 that failed as well. On the cylinder head, basically what we're going to have to do there is that's a new valve. Like I said, recut the seat, possibly a spring and a retainer with the cotters. Cotters are probably mincemeat in the bottom of the sump. So, wow, I think we got lucky. But I did get the new injectors. So here are the Bosch injectors anyway, 440 cc's. We're also going to replace the coils. Man, I'm pumped now because we got lucky. We got super lucky, man. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to call it for this episode. What I'm going to do now is just get my shit together, speak to the guys, come up with a game plan, and I think that'll be the next episode. Or whatever, I don't know, but I'll figure it out. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for supporting me during this build and this epic mayhem. I want to race this car this year still, so this just gives me hope that we can. I'll probably do it in a local South African race with the BMW guys. Seems like a great series, and the car is magic. So let's just get our head down. I don't even think we have to strip anything further on this block. We might be just super lucky, you know. Anyway, let's see what happens. I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you for watching. See ya. Okay, this is a thumbnail. Good thumbnail, number 1.